Good morning to all. In today's session, we are all going to learn about the international financial management and overview. Let's begin with the introduction about the multinational corporations. A multinational corporation is a company that has its own headquarters in one country and operates its business operation in another country, and that actually called a multinational corporation. In this particular segment where the business which operates outside the country or outside India or in other countries, it could be through the production, marketing and the service units. The main key idea behind the multinational corporation, it creates a global networks of production and trade and crossing the national borders in terms of businesses, labor and markets as well. Let's talk about the important early examples of multinational corporation. So the first early you can say multinational corporation is a British East India Company who mainly engaged in trade sectors in terms of spices, textiles, and they played a major role in the controlled trade and administration in India and Asia. The second early multinational company is the Dutch East India Company, which says VDC, and it also engaged in the trade sector, but especially in spices. And the first company, it is the first company to issue shares to the public, and global autonomy is always engaged in spice trade. Next one is Hudson B Company. It is also engaged in the fur trade, and such company operated across the Canada and North America. Next one is the Ford Motor Company, that is you can say the 20th century, and the main sector this company engaged is in automobiles, and it's a pioneered global assembly lines, and it set up the factories in Europe and Latin America. So here we can talk about the Indian North, you can say multinational company, and the first company we can talk about, it's Hero MotoCorp, and the headquarters of this company is in New Delhi, and the type of industry that it mainly engaged is in automobile, and the countries that they operate in, it's Colombia, Bangladesh and Africa. There is also a second company we can talk about, the Bajaj, and its headquarters is in Pune, and such company is mainly engaged in automobile sector, and it operates in you can say UAE, United Arab Emirates and the Bangladesh. Next one is the TVS. We can talk about, it's in Chennai, headquarters is in Chennai, and such companies engaged is also in automobile, and it operates in different countries like Brazil, Chile, Colombia, you can say Mexico and the Peru. The next one is the you can see the State Bank of India, and the headquarters is in Bombay, and the type of you can say industry is banking, and it operates the various countries like Australia, Bangladesh and the Belgium. Next one is the Bharti Airtel. The headquarters is in New Delhi, and it is one of the type related to the communication technology, and it operates in various countries like South Asia and Africa. Now we can talk about the origin and evolution of multinational corporation. Let's talk about the various phases that the multinational corporation has been you can say originated and has been enforced. So there are various key developments we can see through these phases. So the first phase is the colonial era, that is 1600 to 1800. It is termed as a powerful trade companies, as we can see in the early multinational corporation, that is the British Fast Indian Company, which engaged in the commerce and the administration across the continents. The second phase is the first industrial revolution, that is the 1700 to 1840. It is the one of the key development. It refers to a mass production and transportation, and it always come up to the steamship and the railways, which allow the larger to larger companies to enter into a foreign markets. Next one is the next phase is the late 19th century, that is the second industrial revolution, and it also engaged into various sectors like electrical, chemical, steel industries, where the globalization, you can say, power has become more faster, of course, and it could be connected through the telegraph to a distant markets. Next phase is the post-World War First and Second, where the United States and the European firms expanded their business operation internationally during the Reconstruction and economic growth phase. So it is the economic growth phases. The United States and the European from they expanded their operations internationally. And the next one is the post-1970s globalization. This phase refers to a trade liberalization, internet connectivity, container shipping enabled, where the different countries, they can ship their products and services and transport through shipping to a different destination outside India. And in this particular phase, it refers to a rapid spread of the multinational corporations worldwide. So after the, you can see, 1970, the main globalization phase will come up, where the multinational corporation has spread worldwide, who are mainly engaged into a shipping of goods and services across the countries. Now we can come up to the next section, that is the key drivers behind the rise of multinational corporation. The first factor is or the first driver is the technological advancement. So automatically it refers to an improved transportation in terms of steamships, railways, airlines, waterways, and of course the communication technology has also been improved, which connect to a global market. And the communication technology in the form of telegraph, telephone, internet services, etc. The next driver is a liberalization of trade, where the reduction of tariffs and the trade barriers is always been encouraged through the you can say cross-border movement of goods and services and capital. So where the countries are liberalized, free from tariff and trade barriers at some extent, and it always encouraged to a free movement of goods and capital. Next one is a cheap labor and raw material. Multinational companies has always shifted the production to the developing countries so that they can reduce the cost and increase the profitability. So the ultimate aim of the multinational corporation is to increase the profits at a low cost, and accordingly such corporations shift their production to developing countries immediately. Next one is the investment opportunities. So the high return from investment in emerging markets is always motivate the companies who are actually willing to operate their business globally. So this is how that one of the key factors that investment opportunities are actually options, or options are open up for the multinational corporations in order to ensure that their business operations would work globally or would operate globally. Next is political stability. At the end of the colonial rule and the establishment of the new nation states, it encouraged the foreign investments under the negotiated terms and the Bretton Woods institutions. So automatically, when we talk about all these terms where the international institutions are also coming up under the political stability, so automatically when we talk about the new nation states, which always been encouraged the foreign investments along with the international institutions, which also play a very important role in the multinational corporations. So there are also the international institutions, which is one of the key driver, or you can say, of the multinational corporation, and the key institutions would be the Bretton Woods institutions, International Monetary Fund, World Bank, you can see Journal Agreement, TEF and Tariffs, World Trade Organization, who promote the free global trade and investments. So when we talk about the political stability, we always encourage the foreign investment, and international institution which always encouraged to be a free global trade and investment. Now we can come up to the next section, that what are the sectors are dominated by the multinational corporations today. Now we can come up to the various sectors and what would be the set of companies who are comes under these sectors. So the first one is the automobiles, and the examples could be Toyota, General Motors and the Volkswagen. Next one is technology. We can talk about any of the technologies companies, that is Apple, Microsoft, Google. Oil and gas, we can talk about the Shell, BP and Exxon and Mobil. Next is food and beverages, that is Coca-Cola, Nestle and PepsiCo. Pharmaceutical, that is the Pfizer, Novartis, Johnson and Johnson. And the last one is retail and consumer goods. It could be Walmart, Unilever and the Amazon companies. So these are the multinational companies who are not operate their business operation in India, but also operated into various countries globally. Now we can talk about that what are the roles of international organizations in promoting the multinational corporations. So the first one is World Trade Organization. So it always, such organization encourages the free trade and reduces the trade barriers. Next one is the International Monetary Fund, that is IMF. It also provides the financial assistance to all those companies who are newly startup and willing to you can say enter into a market and open up a market. So it provides all financial assistance to all those in return for opening markets. Next one is World Bank. You can say it funds the development projects and which involves the multinational corporation participants. So World Bank is always involved in funding to all those development projects where the multinational companies are actually participated in such projects. Next one is its UNCLID, that is United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. So of course such organization or institution is also monitor the multinational corporation activities and promotes their strategies and practices so that it could be used by different companies across different countries. Let's talk about the examples of the famous multinational corporations and their global footprint. footprint. The first one is Apple, and the home country is USA, and the manufacturing it's China, India, sales worldwide. Next one is Samsung, the South Korea, and electronic production and sales in different countries would be there, and it's all over 70 countries. Next one is Nestle, and the home country home country is Switzerland, and it's mainly involved on food production in 199 countries. Next is Toyota, and the home country is in Japan, and the factories and the sales network across Asia, Europe, and USA. Now we can talk about the merits of multinational corporation. So the first one is the foreign investment. Multinational corporation, it always brings the capitals, the technology, other resources in the to the host countries, which could be very crucial for the economic growth, particularly in the developing nations. Next one is job creation. It establishes the operations or the working operations of the businesses in the various countries, and of course it mainly engaged to open up a new job opportunities and reduce the unemployment. Next one is infrastructure development. Multinational corporations may invest in improving the infrastructures like roads, power, communication systems, which mainly benefit to the host country, the country who have developed their business in his home country and operate their business operations in different countries. So the host country would be the company who have you can say build up a business in its own country. Next one is technology transfer. The multinational corporation transfer the advanced technologies and the management practices to host countries, who helping them to modernize and improve their industrial capacity. Next one is skill development. They train the local employees so that they can upgrade their skills and adapt to new technologies in order to ensure their employment and contribute to the overall workforce development. Next is access to new markets. So the multinational corporation can also help the domestic businesses which could reach to a new market through the established global networks. Next one is increased competition, and competition is always encourage the companies to improve their efficiencies and focus on the quality product so that you can say it will compete in the market effectively. Next one is improved living standard. Multinational corporation will also contribute to improve the living standards by providing better wages, working condition, and access to a wider range of goods and services. Next one is increase the efficiency and innovation. So they can introduce the efficient production processes and encourage the innovation which could benefit both the company and the host country. Next is standardization and quality. It often to introduce the standardized products and the quality control measures to adopt, which could benefit the consumers and their clients. Next one is export promotion, and the multinational corporation can help to promote export to facilitate the access to international markets. The next section is internationalization. So in international business, such term refers to a process that where a company could expand its operation and build up its presence beyond its domestic market, which involves the gradual integration of international markets into an overall business strategies. So ultimately it's all about how the company adapt the new technologies, new business strategies, new business practices, so that they can operate its business operations in different countries and willing to understand their cultural norms as well, why operate their businesses in different countries. And that is actually called internationalization. So internationalization is all about that how the company expand its domestic market, involving to integrate all of the international markets into an overall business strategy, or by adopting a new business strategies and practices so that they can operate its business operations effectively. So it also involves you can see the products, the services, the practices, the strategies, so that they can operate their business in different countries and understand their cultures, norms as well. Real life example of internationalization, that is IKEA. So IKEA is one of the company who always willing to design its furniture, assembles into different countries according to the needs, so that they can facilitate the translation and from into various languages. So automatically the company which is always based in a host country, and accordingly they could facilitate, or you can say transport according into a various languages or according to its needs. Next one is McDonald's. McDonald's is also adapt to mean to a local taste and cultural preferences in different countries. So if the McDonald's in US, they have a different taste and the cultural you can say preferences, and India they have a different taste and their cultural preferences, and accordingly you can say it offers a regional you can say specialities and adjust in their you can say dietary restrictions in different countries. So every country taste every country customers taste and preference differs, and accordingly it will operate to a different countries. Next is software companies, and the softwares is almost designed with internationalization according to its own country's needs, so that every individual in its own country can easily translate, adapt to a different languages or the regional settings by just right to left script support or to specific date formats according to the country to country formats. So this is the three main real life examples where the internationalization or the concept of internationalization holds in it. Next is Unilever. Unilever is also demonstrate the internationalization through its diverse or different brand portfolio with its own varieties of products like Dove, Lipton, Ben's and Jerry, which is tailored to adapt our cultural preferences and needs into various markets. And the last example is Apple. Apple products are designed with internationalization in mind. So when a company designs any of the electronic products or electronic gadgets, it always keeps in mind the factors of their domestic you can say customers or the clients, and accordingly it features the adaptable interface, multi-language support features which can easily understand and localized for different groups, and that is the ultimate idea or you can say of the Apple. Next is stages of internationalization. So this is also the one of the most important concept which always begins from domestic you can see company to to transnational companies. So these are the step by steps the internationalize you can see the companies would follow up. It begin from domestic company, then international company, then multinational company, then global company, then it reached to the transnational companies, where the you can see cultural norms and norms and complexities will have to follow up by the companies. So this is how the every company has to you can see reach to a different destination or reach to a upgradation of its company in these particular internationalization stages. So let's have an overview of all of these stages. The first one is domestic company. Domestic company, it refers to its own operations, its visions, a set of values, its strategic planning within the domestic territories or within the national boundaries, and that's called domestic company. Such companies are mainly focused on the leveraging domestic market opportunities, which always understands the you can say the local customer needs, and of course navigate through the national environmental restrictions and the factors. So that is called the domestic company. There are a few examples to make you understand a domestic company like Reliance Industries Limited, Tata Motors Limited, which mainly focused on mastering the home market rather than the global market. So this is called a domestic company, which is the first stage of the internationalization. Let's begin to the next stage, that is called the international company. So in this stage, the company begins to explore its products and services, not only one, it could be more foreign markets. And when a company reaches to the foreign markets, it becomes international company. And this involves using the brokers, the middlemen, the intermediaries like distributors or agents or brokers, so that they helps and they assist such companies to reach to the foreign markets, and that's become an international company. Next stage is multinational company. When we talk about the multinational company, as the companies grow its business operation, they establish their foreign subsidiaries and just have a joint ventures in multiple countries, then it becomes a multinational company. So where the company establish its own stand, its own footprint into different countries, and just join collaborate with the foreign countries in the foreign companies in multiple countries, and that it becomes the multinational company. So this involves adapting products and marketing strategies to local conditions. So if India is collaborating and having a joint venture with the foreign market, so automatically that foreign products will come to in India and just specialized and you can say adopt the marketing strategies to meet up the local needs and requirements of the customers. So this has become a multinational company. Next is global company. This stage represents the more integrated global approach with a major focus to standardize their products and strategies across the different markets, and the company always aims for the economies of scale and the global efficiencies. So this stage is always focused to a more just to integrate all of the global networks to standardize its products and services and reach out to different markets. And when such companies will do that, which have a same aim to mainly standardize its products and services just to integrate all of the global approach or global markets, then it becomes the global company. So this is the main difference between the international company, multinational company, and global company. International company, when they explore its products and services, or they export its products and services to one or more countries, then it becomes international. Multinational means when they have a collaboration with the foreign company, when they have a joint venture with the foreign company, and just adapt their products and services just to reach out to local needs, or to satisfy the local needs and services, it's become the multinational company. Global company, it always follow a more integrated global approach, where it mainly aims to standardize its products and services across the different markets. So it's ultimately, it's all about to increase the production. It's all about to increase its productivity at a global footprint, and that's become the global company. Next is transnational company. The final stage of the internationalization is all about to integrate the global approach, the global structure with both global efficiency and the local responsiveness. So it's all about the combination of both that becomes a global and the national, you can say, or the local, how it respond to such products. So the company can adopt the local needs while maintaining a unified global strategies. So it is very important for the companies to first to satisfy the local needs and then to maintain the unified global strategies across the countries. And that's become the transnational companies, where the major focus is all about on the local needs, and accordingly they would go after the unified global strategies or structure, so that they can increase their local response. So despite such complexity, transnational companies like Coca-Cola, Apple, McDonald's, Nike has always managed to maintain the centralized control while operating across international borders. So they have maintained its own standards, and when they operated to different countries, there also they have set their own standards as well. And that's becomes the transnational companies, where the you can say the host country is always being try to set their standards according to the, you can say, home countries. So their aim is to combine a global efficiencies with local representatives who navigate the delicate balance between the global standardization and the local adoption. Next, we talk about the strategies of internationalization. There are several strategies which are being used, including the exporting, the licensing, the franchisee, joint ventures, foreign direct investment, and the strategic alliance. Also helps to the different companies across different countries, and it also refers to a different level of commitment and the risk, and the best approach is totally depends upon on the company's specific goals, resources, and the characteristics of the target market that they set for. So the first one is exporting. So it's selling the products and services, you can say, produced in the home countries to customers in other countries. For example, a French wine producer selling its wines in the United States, and the production remains in France, but the wines you can say shipped and sold to distributors and the retailers in the United States. So this is how the exports going on, where the French wine is also export to the United States. So advantage would be the low risk investment and easy to test the foreign markets. Disadvantage could be the transportation cost could be high, potential tariff rates and the trade barriers could also exist, and it should be a limited control over the local market activities. So that could be the limitations of exporting. Next is licensing. It's grant a foreign company the rights to produce and sell a company product in a specific market for a fees that called royalties. A United States software company licensing its technology to a Japanese company to develop and market a localized version of the software in Japan. So this is how the US software company license its technologies in to a Japanese company so that they can develop and market in a localized version of the software in Japan as well. So the advantages of licensing could be the lower risk, but it could a faster market entry would be there. It easily access to the local knowledge and networks as well. A few limitations could be the less control over the quality and branding. It have a potential for the future competition as well. So just before you license your software and give a rights to the another company in across or in another country, so it is very important to go through the advantages and disadvantages of licensing as well. Next is franchising. So granting a foreign company the right to operate its business units using a company established business model brand in exchange for fees and loyalties. So franchise is all about taking up the rights to operate or to open up its business units in another country. So that's called franchisee. Let's take an example. A fast food chain like McDonald's franchisee its business to the local entrepreneurs for various countries who then operate restaurants under the McDonald's brand. And you can see the in Connaught Place as well, the McDonald's, and everywhere in India the McDonald's outlets are also available. That means it's all called a franchisee. Advantages: so rapid expansion, shared risk investment, and it easily access to the local expertise. So if the McDonald's company and outlets operating in India, then definitely it's expanding you can say rapidly. It shared the risk and investment between the home and the host country, and it easily access to the local expertise as well. But the few advantages are also being involved in it. That would be a potential for the inconsistent brand experiences, it a loss of control over its operation as well. Next is joint venture. Establish a new business entity with the foreign partner, sharing ownership, control and resources. So it's all about a collaboration with the foreign partner so that they can share the profit and losses equally, its ownership, resources as well. Example could be a German automobile manufacturer partnering with the Chinese company to build a manufacturing plant in China. So that means the German automobile manufacturing is collaborated with the Chinese company so that they can build its own manufacturing plant in China. What is this? It's called a joint venture. So the few advantage and disadvantage which involve in it, that is one of the advantages is a shared investment and risk. So when you collaborate and having a joint venture, you can see establish a new business while collaborating with the foreign partners. So definitely one of the advantage or great advantage will be share the investment and risk. It easily access to the local knowledge and network. They have a potential for synergy and the complementary resources as well. But few disadvantage could be the potential for conflicts with partners. It could be a challenges in coordinating operations and decision makings as well. The next one is the foreign direct investment, that is FDI. It refers to investing directly in the foreign country, especially to establish any subsidiary or acquiring an existing company. It's all about investment directly to the foreign country. So it could be in a way of establish a new business or subsidiary company in outside India or outside in another country, or acquiring an existing company as well. So let's take an example to understand this concept. That is a US retail company opening its own stores in Europe or acquiring a European retail chain, and that's called the foreign direct investments. To you can opening a new store while investing you can say in a foreign country. Advantage could be a high level of control, potential for a greater returns, and it easily access to the local resources and markets. Disadvantage could be the high risk and investment because you are operating into a foreign country, and it complex regulatory and legal norms or environment would exist. It also have a potential for political and economic stabilities as well in this particular you can say method. Next is strategic alliance. So the cooperative agreements between two or more companies to achieve some common goals without creating any new enterprise. It's become a strategic alliance. A pharmaceutical company, it's partnering with the research institution in another country to develop a new drug. So that become a strategic alliance. When we have a cooperative agreement between two or more companies to reach out a common goals, it becomes strategic alliance. And in this example, it did the same way, that the pharmaceutical companies partner with the research institution in another country to develop a new drug. So a shared resources and expertise is one of the good advantage of this method. It reduces the risk and investment. It makes the market entry more faster. Disadvantage could be a potential for conflicts, and it always faces a challenges in coordination and control. Next is global strategy. So global strategies would be standardizing the products and services across all international markets with a centralized approach to operations and decision making. So it's all about the you can say adopting you can say global approach, a centralized approach which was opted by different countries to operate their business and used in a decision making process. So automatically it's all about to standardize the products and services which is operated across all international markets. So we can talk about the Rolex watches, which is sold worldwide with minimum adaptation to local markets, maintaining a consistent brand identity. That means it doesn't follow any local you can say doesn't follow any local needs or local market adaptation. It's all about to maintain you can say global brand identity, and that becomes a global strategy. That is one of the strategy of internationalization. So few advantages could be the economies of scale, a strong brand control and efficient operations, and disadvantage could be the limited responsiveness to local market needs, have a potential for the cultural missteps. So as I told, it is very difficult to adopt the local cultural norms, but that's why it always used as a centralized approach which always helps to operate its business across the international markets, and of course helps into a decision making process as well. We talk about the next section, that is international financial management. The technique of managing the financial resources and risk, you can say, in a worldwide setting is actually called an international financial management. That how you manage your funds, you manage your cash flow inflows and outflows in a worldwide setting, in a worldwide manner. That's become an international financial management. It also entails or helps to make a financial choices, which ultimately helps a business operation across several nations. That's become an international financial management. International financial management, you can say, operates various activities like foreign exchange management. It deals with different currencies exchange rate, where the rates could fluctuate simultaneously. Next one is international investment. It makes investments in foreign markets. Next one is capital budgeting. It also helps to evaluate the potential international projects and investments as well. That how the budget could prepare so that they can meet up the needs and to evaluate such international projects and investment concisely. Next is working capital management. It is also the one of the main activity of the international financial management, that how it manage the short-term assets and liabilities in a global setting. And next is, and last one is, the risk management. It helps to identify, to assess, to monitor the financial risk which is associated with the international operation or an international projects. Functions of international financial management, that is foreign exchange risk management, that how it involves that how it manage the risk associated with the fluctuating exchange rate when a company operates in multiple countries. So this is how the international financial management is also manage the foreign exchange risks and exchange rates. Next is international capital budgeting. This function is also focuses on evaluation and selecting the long-term investment projects in the foreign markets. And international financial management, it also helps them that how it would evaluate and select the long-term projects in the foreign markets, and it easily access the potential returns, risks, and overall strategic fit of the investment. Next is global financial planning. This function involves that how it creates a comprehensive financial plan that includes all the aspects of company international operations, including their revenue, expenses, and of course each inflow and outflow of cash. Next is cross-border investment decision. This also involves that how the strategic decisions is to be made up about where and how to invest in the foreign market. And international financial management is also teaches that how and where to invest in the foreign market, considering the various factors like market potential, political stability, and regulatory environment. Next is compliance with international regulation. Multinational companies which always focus with the laws and the regulations of each country by which they operate international financial management, which ensures those you can say major rules and regulations in the respective countries. International working capital management. So this function is also focused to manage the short-term assets and liabilities across borders. Next is financing international business. international financial management is also involves to secure the you can say also wants to secure the fundings for the international operations through the various sources like import and export banks, loans, we can talk about, euro dollar markets, international equity markets as well. Next is international taxation and accountability. This function is also deals with the complexities of taxation, accounting rules and regulations according to different countries in order to ensure the compliance and optimizing the tax strategies, and every company has easily to understand the tax strategies and international financial management will helps to understand such strategies. And the last one is managing the political risk. International financial managers must assess and manage the potential risk which is associated with the political instabilities and the changes in the government policies in the foreign countries. And accordingly, the such management, international financial management, helps the international financial managers to understand or to face up the political instability and change and understand the changes in government policies in different countries. Challenges in international financial management. The first one is exchange rate risks. So automatically it always refers to fluctuation in exchange rates. So changing in exchange rates will ultimately impact the profitability of the international operations. So from one country it could be a loss of the currencies in order to frequent fluctuation in exchange rate, and for the other country it could be a profit. So it automatically increase or reduce the competitiveness of exports. And the strategies is also being to minimize the risk or to mitigate such exchange rate risk. Businesses can easily employ the hedging strategies such as the forward contracts, future contracts and option strategies as well. Next is political risk. Government instability and political changes which always you can see create the uncertainties and hinders the business operations. Risk mitigation strategies are also being adopted like diversification insurance, carefully selections of investment locations. Next is economic risk. Economic cycles and inflations could also be impact the performance of the multinational corporations, and accordingly there are the risk management techniques and the careful financial planning is also to be done. Risk assessment matrices is to be performed, and diversification can help to manage the economic risks. Cultural differences, communication barriers and misunderstanding is also the one of the challenge. So the cultural differences lead to communication breakdown, misunderstandings also impact the business relationship and negotiation. Next is cultural sensitivity and adaptation under the cultural differences. So the international financial managers must be culturally sensitive and adopt their communication and business practices to local customs and norms. So this could be a suggestion for mitigating the communication barriers and misunderstanding among the organization in different countries. Next is legal and regulatory differences. A complex regulatory environment is also the one of the challenge of international financial management. So of course they have to follow up the laws and regulation which could be a complex in different countries. It also increases the operational cost and administrative burdens on the organizations in different countries. So the legal council and the compliance should also be adopted. So it is very important for the international organization to seek a legal counsel and ensure the compliance with local regulations, which is essential to avoid any legal dispute and financial penalties. And the last one is taxation. The international tax laws and treaties. So international tax laws and treaties can also be complex in different countries, and automatically it differs from country to country. So the tax planning and optimization tool would also be useful to prepare an effective tax planning and optimize to minimize the tax liabilities and maximize the after tax returns. Next is International Monetary System. So the International Monetary System is a well-designed system which not only regulates the valuations, the exchange of money across the country, but it also look after the cross-border payments, exchange rates and mobility of capitals. So it's all about the regulator of the international you can say monetary systems of different countries. This systems is always has a rules and regulations which aims to calculate the exchange rate and the terms of the international payments. And such system is also increases the capital from one nation to another by facilitating the trade in an organized manner. There are many participants like multinational corporation, investors, financial institution in an international monetary system, and the main aim of such monetary system today is to ensure a high growth in the world with stable price level, and of course the scope was up to exchange rate when it come up to see with the earlier you can say early stage or the earlier stages. So the system has a broader scope by taking up the financial stability into the considerations, where such system has established the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank in the year 1944. Advantages of international monetary system: it enhances the financial stability and maintain the price level on a global scale. It also mobilizes the money from one nation to another nation and also determine the exchange rates across the countries. This system is also encouraged the governments of respective countries to manage their balance of payments by reducing the trade deficit. Such system is a well-regulated system that makes the whole process of international trading smooth. Such system is also relocates the capital from one country to another country so that it maintain the cross-border investments. Of course, there should be an international financial architecture which consists the international monetary system to provide the liquidity to the countries of the world. The system also try and avoid any short or long term disruptions or hurdles in the world economy. Accordingly, when we talk about the international monetary system, it always helps the whole economic policies of different countries by mobilizing, managing, evaluating, assessing the different types of risks that involved in a monetary system. That's it for today. Thank you so much for listening this lecture. I will come up to the more and more important and relevant topics in the upcoming session. Till time, thank you and namaste to all.